nonsense.
Ariko tayi akusoreza imyenda wibereye kuri telefone kweli.
Ariko ni kuwa mbere nawe wagwa. Wamo. Uracyari wose. Icyo nakubwiraga wa muntu nikoye. Umuntu w'umugabo ubukwe bwe akambara kositimu itukura biciye n'amaboko noneho. None so Yesuza.
Si wombwiye ngo ngwe muse.
Ntabwo ari binavugaga.
Kuwa mbere kanda akanyenyeri 345 akanyenyeri 2 urwego maze nawe ugwemo. Wikwisondeka.
A very good evening and thank you for joining us for RTV News. My name is William Evans.
And I'm Serge Horia.
Let's have a look at the headlines. Minister of Health, Dr. Sabin Sanzimana, has noted that Rwanda is at a level of not being intimidated by any country that may choose to shrink its aid budget or to stop its support towards Rwanda's health sector. While Tour du Rwanda 2025 final race was halted with one lap to go due to heavy rain and slippery conditions. On the international scene, robots with reasoning power are becoming a reality thanks to massive amount of training data and breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. Again, many thanks for joining us. Let's go into the details. Minister of Health, Dr. Sabin Sanzimana, has noted that Rwanda is at a level of not being intimidated by any country that may choose to shrink its aid budget or to stop its support towards Rwanda's health sector. He made this statement during a press briefing where global health leaders convened to explore sustainable solutions and He made this statement during a press briefing where global health leaders convened to explore sustainable solutions and foster cross-sector partnerships to build a more resilient and self-sustaining health future for the continent. We have a report. In a press conference to officially kick off Africa the Health Agenda International Conference, Minister of Health, Dr. Sabin Sanzimana, mentioned that one of the projects that was funded by the American Development Agency, USAID, has been suspended. This project, related to combating diseases, including malaria, maternal and child health, epidemic diseases, building health systems, and supporting students studying medicine. Despite this, the minister says that this is another excellent opportunity to think of how to bridge the gap internally, capitalizing on homegrown solutions, as it has been Rwanda's story. He added that the focus is on supporting trainings for long-term benefit.
Unique for Rwanda only, but we looked across projects active in the health sector, and we found more than 5 billion francs, that is more than $5 million, in short-term trainings and workshops. These trainings are supposed to be training people. And on the other side, we have people who are being trained to take care of our lives in the long term that are to fit. So do we need to keep these short-term trainings, or do we fund these long-term so that we don't need to train all these weekly things that people can actually read on their telephones online? So we moved that 5 billion to continue these students to finish their programs, and the trainings we had are now transformed into online trainings. So we didn't lose the trainings, but we gained in keeping our programs that are very critical for the whole system. So that is an example on how, as a continent, we need to think beyond the traditional ways of pre-designed action plans to something that, what do we have, what do we need, what do we want to achieve.
The CEO of the AMREF organization, working on health in Africa, advised that African countries must unite efforts to ensure that the health of the continent's residents is not compromised.
So we have had programs with USAID, significant programs worth probably about 28 million or so, that were in multiple countries, in Kenya, in Malawi, in Zambia, in Ethiopia. And the core of these programs were around maternal and child health, preventing mother-to-child transmission. So as we speak, we are working with the government to ensure that no child is going to be exposed to HIV because they were not protected during the mother's pregnancy. That's a risk. We had programs on HIV prevention, testing, for example. We had programs on what you may call running care and treatment centers for HIV, what we call the comprehensive care clinics, that have stopped. We have programs on surveillance. So these would be the main ones that we are talking about. And of course, what Minister Sabin was talking about, capacity building for health workforce. We had health workers across these countries that were actually actively involved in care and treatment for the prevention of mother-child, HIV, and tuberculosis care.
The acting director of World Health Organization, African region, praised Rwanda for the efforts it has made in combating the Marburg outbreak until it was eradicated in the country, stating that collaboration is essential for ensuring the population has a healthy life.
The health indices out of Rwanda have continued to be a reference point for all of us, whether it's on maternal mortality, on childhood mortality, on your health insurance, community health insurance coverage. These are all indices that we refer to when we're looking for something great to speak about our continent. So it really shows what happens when a society comes together with its governments and its people and the leadership to drive forward the key things that we need. To the Marburg outbreak in Rwanda and how we all came together and with your leadership and the support of all of us came to achieve reasonable success. In this space of infectious diseases and health security, there's no success on our own. We have to work with each other. And it's in that collaboration. I love what you said about Gitinji, about President Kagame's responses. There's no better space to illustrate it than in health security. There's no notion of one country having great health security and your neighbor not having. It will never work. So we have to, this is one area where collaboration is not a nice to have.
Africa, the Health Agenda International Conference, which is going to be hosted in Rwanda for the 60th time, comes at a defining moment for global health as Africa faces multiple crises, including the Mpox outbreak, Marburg virus, climate-related health threats, conflicts, and the shrinking aid budgets. These global health leaders are convening in Kigali to explore sustainable solutions and foster cross-sector partnerships to build a more resilient and self-sustaining health future for the continent.
A group of students from the School Officiel in Gatwa and the Bijimana Science School have emerged as national winners in the Robotics and Artificial Intelligence Innovation Competition. The competition focused on technological projects designed to improve people's lives using artificial intelligence and robotics. The students have emphasized that their projects play a significant role in their learning experience.
We as a team from JSOB in that Nyesha, we made a project which is called Deep Diver 1, and the Deep Diver 1 was just going to be combining like two technologies whereby we use the AI and the VR plus the camera that's going to be holding like species underwater. And so this was to increase the level of exploration as we did the research and found out that only 20% of the ocean is down that is known. So I wanted to increase the level from 20% to 80%. Of course, we preferred this project because of the problem we found out. We found out the exploration is low, and due to the low exploration, the people don't give like the prestige the ocean offer. Or the ocean must be given, like they throw some plastics, some acids, while they're killing the aquatic animals, which is kind of useful to us.
Besides the winners, a group of students from St. Ignace School developed a technology designed to use in lakes and rivers to remove plastic bottles that harm aquatic life.
The robot is the Ecotide, so the features are the camera, lights, sensors, and we also have a base made up of PVC pipes and navigation system and detection system, which includes the camera and sensors, while the navigation system involves motors and propellers. So the problem we're solving is plastic pollution, which is collecting plastics in order to make a better environment for Rwandans, and also to accommodate with Rwanda's 2063 agenda, which is to ban all the plastics here in our country.
The Minister of Education, Dr. Nsengimana, has noted that such competitions in artificial intelligence and robotics help students to apply what they learn in school.
This competition, as you saw, it is a competition that aims at supporting the kids, particularly in an effort to learn coding or programming, if you will. So you saw there was a lot of coding and robotics. That's one aspect. And there was also an aspect of AI. And so this competition, in essence, is to enforce for the kids to learn more about what they're learning at school and actually apply it. So that's the intent of this kind of competition.
This is the third edition of the competition, with 250 students from 25 schools across the country making it to the final level after excelling in district-level competitions. The two winning teams will represent Rwanda in international competitions, with the robotics champions heading to the United States and the artificial intelligence champions traveling to Switzerland.
And now moving on to matters technology, an online student information system that centralizes student information from the time of their enrollment until they complete their studies has been launched in Rwanda. Technology is one of the factors enhancing the quality of education in Rwanda and attracting foreign students to pursue their studies here. We have a report. Experts in technology in Rwanda have developed an online student information system, OSIS program for short. The program coordinator, Alinda Rumanzigaju, explains how all student information is input from their admission to graduation, allowing them to access services they need promptly.
It provides security, that's number one. Number two, it supports integration, so you can easily integrate every module with what you want. It's not like you're going to have a scattered module for registration, it's not like you're going to have a scattered module for admission, or even maybe assessment, or even finance systems. So it's a tool that is going to blend everything together, and then you can access the reports and the documents you want in the real time. So it's a very great system that is supported by a very strong technology that it's built on a very strong cloud, so it's going to support almost everything that a student needs to facilitate their educations.
Various authorities in Rwanda, including the National Cyber Security Authority, Central Bank of Rwanda, Capital Market Authority, and others that require this technology, have approved this program. The Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of Rwanda, Dr. Raymond Kumana, believes this program is different from the previous one as it integrates all student information.
Because most of the time, the platform we use, at least at the University of Rwanda, are purchased externally, which sometimes complicates the quick support or even the vendor locking, where we depend on the vendor. So we believe that because there are no flight involved, people are not flying here and there to come and support us, we believe that could reduce the costs, which makes this system affordable on the Rwandan market. But of course, we are not just looking at using only, but we are also testing being the user case, because universities are universal, and if we are successful, maybe this platform can also be exposed to other markets.
The CEO of a Ghanaian institution, IT Consortium Group, Romeo Bjei, considers this program as a solution to many issues that previously caused conflicts between teachers and students.
So right from the recruitment, the data that the student provides about himself, if there is a way by which we integrate into a system that pulls the data, it means the data they are getting is what you started school with, okay? And then the lecturers are the ones that are responsible for entering the data of the assessment. The assessment workflow is such that it's part of the work that they do. So every stage of the data is tracked. We also have a copious audit trail to make sure that if there is a need to make any change, the approvals and all that goes to it, and every aspect of it is captured in the system. The system is locked. No one can have access to the data. And so what has been given to you cannot be changed.
A member of the East African Quality Assurance Network has suggested that effective use of technology can enable higher education institutions to achieve quality education.
In Rwanda, 100% or 99% of our higher learning institutions have what we call the MIS, and some few have what we call the ERP. Many of them are partly manual and partly digital. But luckily enough, we've heard about Oasis that is 100% digital from end to end, which really provides a bigger platform of how we can be a bit more efficient and effective and being more secure than the normal MIS we have that are a bit not so much watertight and more protected.
Technology experts find it crucial for educational use as Rwanda seeks to promote education-based tourism. Statistics show that the number of foreign students has more than tripled in the past 7 years, rising from 1,397 in 2016-2017 to 9,109 in 2023-2024.
Now sports news. The final stage of the Tour de Rwanda 2025 has taken place. Supposed to have covered a distance of 74 kilometers, though that was not the case as the race was halted with 1 lap to go due to heavy rainfall and slippery conditions. As a result, French cyclist Fabien Dubin was declared the winner of the competition after retaining his 6-second lead in the general classification. Disappointment was expressed by fans and organizers alike that the final stage was not completed as expected, though it was also noted that the experience has served as a lesson as Rwanda prepares to host the UCI Road World Championships in September this year. The best performing Rwandan rider in this year's competition was Vankir Masengesho, who placed 7th overall, 51 seconds behind the leader.
Still moving on to matters sports, the Rwandan Rugby Federation has revealed that Rwanda is set to have a strong rugby team in the nearest future. We have report. Rugby is a unique sport in terms of its gameplay and the rules that govern it. Some rugby games are played with 7 players per team and other variants played with 15 players. In rugby, a player runs forward but passes the ball backwards. In secondary schools, the number of players engaging in this game was once few, but it has been increasing in institutions like GTC-TSS, which currently holds 2 national championship trophies and represents Rwanda in the regional secondary school sports competition in East Africa. These students have expressed their goals and strategies that will help them excel in this sport. What we need to do is practice a lot and engage in several friendly matches, then go for these competitions. My team is made of very energetic and able girls. I cannot brag that we are so special or talented, but we are a very capable team. The director of GTS-TSS says that they will continue to promote sports among students, but rugby will hold a special position because the school is the only one with a team in the top tier of the rugby championship in Rwanda. We are known for this game worldwide. Even the international president of rugby came to visit our school. We have 2 rugby teams, and our school so far holds 2 national championship trophies. The chief administrator at the Rugby Federation of Rwanda highlights the efforts being made to nurture young players in order to establish a strong national team in the future. GTS-TSS's current game standard means a lot compared to how long they have been playing rugby and the fact that the oldest team member is only 22 years old. The Federation is doing a lot to have this game introduced to young people, and we are currently training 11 schools and have held competition to assess our progress, and we are doing well so far. Rugby started being played in Rwanda in the year 2000, and on the African ranking, Rwanda is positioned 18th out of 35 teams.
ngewe icyo mbaza ni kimwe koko hari umuntu ugihagarara ku nyama muri iki gihe koko uretse nitaba umukiriya kiriya biteze
ariko tayi aho gusoreza imyenda wibereye kuri telefone kweli
ariko ni kuwa mbere nawe wagwamo wamo uracyari wose icyo nakubwiraga wa muntu niko ye umuntu w'umugabo ku bukwe bwe akambara kositimu itukura iciye n'amaboko noneho none se uyisuza
si wombwiye ngo ngwemo se
ntabwo ari ibi navugaga
Gwamo kuwa mbere kanda akanyenyeri 345 akanyenyeri 2 urwego maze nawe ugwemo. Wikwisondeka.
Welcome back, and let's go to the international scene. And now, considered as one of the top music producers, the East African Rwandan artist Bugingo Ndanga Patrick, also known as Pastor P, has been at the helm of Rwanda's contemporary music evolution and trends. However, in the past few years, he has stepped back from producing club hits to produce an album that revisits Rwanda's musical soundscape, and reflects the country's colonial regions. VOA will report.
Ethnomusicologists worry that in an era of fast-moving musical trends and digital innovation, pre-colonial Rwandan music, once central to communal life, storytelling, and spiritual rituals, is being lost. Recognizing the urgency of preservation, Bugingo, a veteran Rwandan music producer and curator, embarked on a mission to document and revive the country's folkloric music traditions in a groundbreaking anthology album titled Indanga. He says that it captures the sounds from the country's different pre-colonial regions.
There's two words, and there's Kuranga and Inanga. Inanga is our traditional instrument, a traditional harp. And that one inspired me to do this music of traditional music, because our music is based mostly on that instrument. And there is Kuranga, means identifying. I wanted to identify also the music, the sound that I'm doing. And luckily, I'm also called Indanga. So Indanga has like a lot of meanings. So it's a project that is tend to recover some sounds that are really getting lost. We're losing some sounds with the modernization, which is good, but I felt like there was a way to keep our sound and make it really updated without losing its value. So I went down to track and to learn a lot about our sound. And I've been finding we have different sound. I've been hearing people say we have different sounds from different places. And I didn't know how to track those places. I felt like I need to go around and first listen to how they sound. And that the project was to learn, but now it's more also to archive, to make some recordings. And because during my journey on the study, I've been recording some people, but after a few months, I could tell some people are passing, because the old people we have who still have the culture, some are passing. So my really initiative was to go look for them, find them where they are, because they never had a chance to come to studio. So I take my studio over there, try to see to record them in their comfort zone,
in their environment, in their natural habitat.
Before I used to bring them in studio, but they don't feel comfortable and they feel like real disconnected from themselves.
So how did you select the regions and the musical traditions to feature on the album?
My grandpa used to tell me I'm from Chinyaga. And then I was like, what is Chinyaga? Because when I was born, it was called Changu by then. And some people know it as Rusizi, now it's called Rusizi. But I tracked how pre-colonial, how did we call ourselves?
Pre-colonial boundaries.
Pre-colonial boundaries.
And regions, yeah.
And the regions. I used those regions. And I went to Chinyaga, to Gisaka, to Nduga, to, those. I really took them up and I could tell where now Gisaka was located and now it's Chile,
And now, robots with reasoning power are becoming a reality thanks to massive amount of training data and breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. These are now learning to solve problems themselves. VOA continues.
Robots excel at repetitive tasks in controlled spaces, but still struggle in unpredictable environments, like an office or home.
It has a specific skill and it has a kind of brittle skill in some sense. So if anything about the environment changes that doesn't conform with what was planned for ahead of time, then these skills tend to fail. We need like a way for the robot to adapt to the situation at hand without having a human pre-program every behavior that the robot is supposed to do.
The challenge of training robots to solve problems through reasoning has been taken up by a consortium of roboticists from the world's leading labs. This lab at the University of California, Berkeley is one of them. Think of it as preschool for robots.
I've just entered the instruction, put the mushroom on the towel.
This robot arm is following a command and at the same time generating data about its reasoning process.
So it just failed to pick up the mushroom and it's realized that. So it's sticking to the subtask to go to the mushroom and grab it.
If successful and the reasoning is sound, this data can be used to help other robots with similar tasks. Labs in North America, Europe, and Asia are sharing their control data, which, along with data from the internet, will train an LLM, a large language model similar to ChatGPT, essentially one brain that can control a wide variety of robots.
So basically, if I teach one robot arm how to pick up a Coke can, and I have another robot arm that has never in its life seen a Coke can, it suddenly understands the concept of what a Coke can is, and it has a chance of actually picking up that object itself.
Learning how to identify a Coke can comes from vast amounts of visuals and text gathered from the internet, as does being able to pick out Taylor Swift from this lineup.
A lot of these concepts of like, oh, when the Coke can is full, you need to apply more force and you need to lift it further. Or if there is a spill on the kitchen table, what you need is a sponge or a cloth to clean it up. These are concepts that you can learn from the internet. You don't need to learn them from a robot doing stuff.
Research shows the multi-robot, internet-trained brain is outperforming robots trained independently, says Perch.
Even the best baseline, the best model that they could produce was not as good as the model that we could produce by training on all the data sets together.
Many robots have very specialized uses and designs, so a general robot brain is not intended for them. But, Perch says,
for all the robot arms or like all the household robots or all the humanoid robots, eventually I think you will have essentially one model that serves as the base model to control all of them.
We may not see them in homes in the near future, but robots are making great strides forward. Matt Dibble, VOA News, Berkeley, California.
And of course, that report brings us to the end of this edition, but before we go, let's have a look at the headlines. Minister of Health, Dr. Sabin has noted that Rwanda is at a level of not being intimidated by any country that may choose to shrink its aid budget or to stop its budget towards Rwanda's health sector. Tour du Rwanda 2025 final race was halted with the last lap to go due to heavy rains and slippery conditions. On the international scene, robots with reasoning power are becoming a reality thanks to the massive amount of training data and breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. Well, thank you so much for having joined us for this edition. My name is William Evans.
I'm Sarah Shinhori.
See you. Good night.
William.